Morning, everyone. What we're gonna do today is the equivalent of 120,000 mile service on this truck, but I'd already started doing some of it the last time it was in here, which was for the brake job. He needed coolant, his brake fluid needed changed, and his power steering fluid was looking pretty dirty, so I did all that then. He wants to finish it up this time around. So we'll get started. It consists of oil change, spark plugs, and changing all the underneath fluids such as front end, rear end transfer case, and transmission. But with 120,000 miles on it, this transmission, the fluid's never been changed before, and I advised him against changing because I've seen a lot of vehicles that were high mileage that once you've changed the transmission fluid, shortly after that the transmission has failed. So he said yeah, he didn't want to go through with doing that, so we'll get started. Alright, now that we're underneath, this right here, this is your fill plug. This right here, this is your drain plug. Now they're both 24 millimeters. And one thing you want to make sure before you even start is that you can get this fill plug loose. Because if you drain all the oil out, you can't get the fill plug loose, it's no good. Ain't gonna work out. So, let's try it. And I think I mentioned they are 24 millimeter. Alright, that one's loose. That one's loose. And we'll go over to the other side and place the drain pan. Make sure you clean up your plugs real good. This one here has a magnet on it, right on the end of it. You want to make sure you clean that magnet off real good. And that's standard. You're going to have some shavings on there that can't be helped. And we're down to a slow dribble, so put this back in. Clean the fill plug off, no magnet on this, it's just a plug. Oh, why am I putting that back in? That was just stupid. Getting ahead of myself, you guys make me nervous. He's always watching me, everything I do. Get it cleaned up, be professional, don't leave a mess. Try not to dip my hands in the oil. Go a little out of the way. Tighten this back up. There you go. Now we fill. And as usual, the easiest way I know to fill any of this stuff is with this contraption right here. This rear end says it holds 3.7 quarts. That's a good bit of oil. To try to pump this in or pour it in out of quart jugs ain't gonna happen. So I use this thing, look at that, right in. And I've showed this in other videos, so. It says here, LSD oil only. My buddy's a senior master tech at the Toyota dealership here in Butler. I called him up, and he said what he always uses is just 75 W90 full synthetic. So that's what I'm using, 75/90 full synthetic, no additives, no friction modifiers, nothing. And then that's about it. When you see it starting to dribble out, see right there, you know you're full. So we'll turn my pump off. Put the cap back in, plug I should say. Leave that in there so try not to make a mess on the floor. And piss on it. And we'll tighten her back up. There you go. Clean up our mess. That's how you change your fluid on a rear end. Transfer case is next. See you then. Alright, here we are at the transfer case, ready to drain it. Now, like I said before, it's very important that you can get the fluid in before you take the fluid out. So right here with my ratchet and sockets on, this is the fill plug. Make sure you can get this loose. And this is an aluminum transfer case, so be very careful when retightening. Alright, that came loose, so try cracking the drain. That came loose. And a properly placed drain pan helps very much. And this takes the same fluid as the front and rear end does. 75/90 full synthetic. And to fill this, I'll be using the same tool, my pressure canister, to fill it. And it only holds 1.3 quarts in this. 3.7 in the rear end, 1.3 in this, 1.1 in the front. Or vice versa, I can't remember now. I don't always go by that. I just go by that to buy the fluid, to see how much of it I need. What I go by is when I fill it and it starts running out of this plug. That's how I've pretty much been taught to do it from the beginning, and that's how, no matter what the manuals say and the books say, any mechanic, that's pretty much how they're going to do it. Let a slow dribble, get this put in. Get it tightened back up. Like I said, this is aluminum, so, and the torque on this is actually 27 foot-pounds. But I've done this enough. I don't need to torque them. I know if I'm going to strip them out or not, so there you go. And now we start to refill. And I'll get my drain pan put under here for when it starts dribbling out. Get that stuck up in there good and far. Turn it on, and you can see the fluid making its way to the transfer case. Now we wait. And see, it starts dripping. Shut the pump off. Get our plug put in. This is also 27 foot-pounds. I don't know if I mentioned, I may have, these are both 24 millimeters. Same as the rear end. And that's that. That's how you drain and fill the transfer case. And make a mess on your floor at the same time. Alright. Before I set this thing up on the tripod, it's going to be impossible for me to get you up in here while I'm doing this to show you, so let's get our bearings straight. Here's the skid plate. That right there is the front bumper. Skid plate, engine oil pan. There's the engine oil drain plug right there. Here is the front differential, okay? And then here's where it splits right here towards the driver's side from the split. That's your fill plug right there. Then you go down the transfer case, or I'm sorry, not transfer case, but differential. And even further towards the driver's side is your drain plug. And what they have is an Allen head. So it'd be like an Allen wrench, or if you have Allen sockets, that's what you use. I don't know the size of it yet. I will tell you that in a few minutes. So let me get everything set up here, get the camera set up to where you can kind of see what I'm doing. And we'll get draining and filling. And we're back. These Allens, the Allen socket that it takes, or Allen wrench, whatever you're using, is a 10 millimeter. So as before, we will make sure that we can get the fill plug loose. This is very important because if you can't do this, there's no change in the fluid. And what you end up doing is you just tell the owner of the vehicle, if you want it done, it's going to cost a lot more. Or if it's your vehicle, you just don't do it. And that came loose. We'll get this one now. And that's loose. Nice and easy. Get our drain pan in position. Make sure we got a rag. Pull out the plug. This will have a magnet on it too. Should anyhow, unless somebody put them in backwards. Has a magnet, covered in crap, we'll clean it off. And we're down to a slow enough dribble. You'll put it back. This one, I don't remember the torque on it. I believe it's in the high 20s too. That feels good to me. Now, remove the fill plug and inspect it. There's the fill plug. No magnet on it, just a plain old plug. And there's the washer. Make sure you